Hi friends, summer is here and it's time for travel, and a friend of mine just told me a story that really hit home regarding today's topic. He had gone home to see his parents and wanted to visit an old friend while he was there, but they didn't end up meeting up. They sort of missed each other with their texts. Well, his friend texted him later and said, well, since you didn't text, we missed each other this time. My friend said, well, but you could have texted too, right? This brings up the concept of how difficult it can feel when somebody says you didn't text. It can feel like an accusation, right? So let's talk today about what we can do in our business writing and our personal writing to make sure that we reduce conflict, maintain respect, allow our reader to have choice by not using the word you in a blamey way and using it carefully when it can be used for good. All right, so if you've read anything like the sentences up on the screen here, you may have felt a little bit defensive. Your idea didn't work. Your email didn't make sense. When you spoke up in the meeting, I didn't get it. The customer said you didn't provide that info and you didn't address my question. That type of, when we read something like that, it can make us think, well, but I tried, but I had a good reason why I did it differently. Don't you care about and respect my reason, right? We don't want to have our readers run down that type of thinking. We want to make sure they feel emotionally trusting of us. And so we want to actually be judicious, careful, choosy, intentional with when we use you and when we don't. All right, my favorite rule of thumb is whether the situation is positive or negative can influence whether or not I would use you or not. I often use you and your when the situation is positive. Of course I want to give somebody the credit. Of course I want to show someone that I liked what they did. So I'll say the strategies you presented helped us streamline the process. Or since you updated the filing system, we've saved time. Giving credit where credit is due. And that's productive, right? This whole concept is about what's productive, what's constructive. Yes, it's productive to tell someone here specifically is what you did well. They need to know. But speaking of productivity, is it productive to tell someone you messed up or to talk about maybe the mess up in a different way? So check out these examples of something negative. If the strategies or the updates in my previous examples weren't so perfect, I might change around the way I say that. Instead of saying like, your strategies were not good, I might say, well, we streamlined the process, but we found strategy C added confusion. Maybe that was my reader's idea, strategy C, but I don't need to say your idea added confusion when I could say strategy C added confusion. We know what strategy that is. Or I could say, instead of you did a bad update, I could say this file needs to be updated. It's the file that we have an issue with, not you. And why would I consider doing that? Well, because you can feel like an accusation. It really can, right? When it's negative, we can feel defensive when we read or hear the word you. For example, because you uploaded the wrong file, we're behind. In this briefing, you failed to account for last quarter's work from home numbers. Now I'm feeling paranoid, right, about everything I've done wrong. Okay, what can we do differently as readers to stop the cycle of sort of fear, worry, stress, and intimidation and get ourselves to a productive, constructive conversation? Well, we can think, okay, what is this problem really about? Probably it's not specifically about the individual, but the specific topic that you and the individual were working on. And so I like to think, okay, maybe this isn't about the person, but about the product or about the outcome, the briefing, the account, the update, the file itself. And so with that in mind, I would recommend using a product over person approach. When you are talking about something negative, bring the focus to the outcome, not the person who did it. Now, this is not to lie. It's not to candy coat, sugarcoat, or be fake, or be fakey nice. It's none of that. We are still honestly saying that something did not go well. We're just considering the conversation we want to have afterwards. And if we just say, you messed up, that conversation probably won't be so productive. But if we put our focus on the product, the outcome, the goal, instead of the person, we can do both. We can convey true, critical information, but still have a productive conversation. So for example, instead of you didn't provide a detailed chronology in this appendix, I'm going to say, well, the appendix needs a chronology. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the appendix. It's not to hurt anyone. It's to make a good appendix. Similarly, instead of you didn't address an operations perspective in your email, I might say this email should consider an operations perspective, or this process should consider. Okay, so I'm figuring out it wasn't the person actually, it was the goal. And that's what I'm going to make my sentence center around. That's going to be the doer, the subject of my sentence. So let's try a couple out. And if you'd like to, pause me in between so that you can try writing it before I say the one that I did. And we don't have to have the same revision, right? But maybe something similar. So the website revisions you proposed don't incorporate the edits in our mission statement. Sounds fine, but if they read it in their mind as the website revisions you proposed, we have a problem. So if you'd like to try revising that, your task here is to figure out what is really the matter at hand. It's not the person, it's the product. So try revising that sentence, focusing on the product. If you would like to do it before you hear my idea, go ahead and hit pause now. Me again. Here we go with an example of what you could have put. Please include the edits to our mission statement in the website revisions. Or the website should include the edits to the mission statement. Or the mission statement should be noted in our website. Many different ways to do it without focusing on you. Okay, here's one more. When you shared your metrics in the meeting, you didn't summarize last quarter's growth. Again, if you'd like to pause me, go ahead and do it so you can try yours out. And I'm back. And we could say something like metrics briefings should always include a summary of the previous quarter's growth. Again, it's not you who is so erroneous and messed up. It's the metrics briefings that don't have the right summary in them. That way we're still going to get that done, but without creating a conflict between two individuals. All right, try it out. Let me know how it goes. Let me know also, sometimes in class we have a really complex conversation about this because people will say, well, but sometimes I have to make sure they know it's them. So let me know if you have questions like that and we'll work with those ideas for the next video. All right, so looking forward to talking to you soon. I'm not sure if you've heard, we have some high-value writing self-paced courses on the website. They're $25. If you'd like to upskill your concise writing and your emailing, etc., check it out on the High Value Writing website. And I'll see you next week with a new video. Have a good one.